Feed your future self with magic internet money.
Yeah. I think about the same thing a lot too, especially the last, what we just went through, 2017.
Yeah.
It's like, I struggle with it because I got into Bitcoin super early, and I got into Bitcoin because I was trying to get Ron Paul elected. I'm Canadian, so are you. Like,
Yeah,
Canadian. Like, what does a Canadian care about Ron Paul? Right? But it's just something like, he really spoke to me when he was going through his 2008 and 2012 campaigns.
Yeah.
And after I saw the way he was treated, and he was talking about auditing the Federal Reserve, and he was like talking about the economy and how money is debt, and all this war is funded by the public, and then the bailouts happen, and like the bankers don't get in trouble. They actually get hired for government positions, and like, you know, it just seemed very unfair to me.
Yeah.
And so that kind of was my understanding of like libertarianism and sound money, and I was interested in gold, and I was like trying to take whatever measly amounts of money I had to like invest in things and buy gold and silver and stuff. And then it was like right around that time, I was trying to learn how to import silver to Canada without paying taxes, because there's apparently some tax code you can write on your envelope.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, you don't pay the tax if it's bullion.
Okay.
But if it's like coins or whatever, then you do pay the taxes because it's numismatic value. So anyway, there was this video that this guy, Da Vinci Jeremy, did, and he still tweets and stuff. He's getting a following again.
Oh, wow.
Because he was talking about buying Bitcoin back in 2011. I heard about it from him because I was like, I want to get some silver because of Ron Paul. And then this guy's like, let me tell you about Bitcoin. These Bitcoins are like digital gold. And so that really spoke to me.
Yeah.
So it was like the incentive that I had to get into Bitcoin was, so I was so excited by the idea of this new discovery that was like, I heard somebody recently describe it. I think it was like on either Pete McCormick's or Trace Mayer podcast. It was like the discovery of a new element.
Yeah.
Of like an electronic element. You know, it was like, that's what it kind of felt like. That was a really apt way to describe it. It was like a new invention, but that was like gold that you could use to send money back and forth to people. And there was no permission, there was no banks involved, there's no governments involved. Nothing could shut it down because it was like distributed like BitTorrent.
Yeah.
And I had a background in video game economy design.
Right.
Because I had launched some social games on Facebook, and I had dealt with hyperinflation in a virtual world where I had created this game, and then we had promos that we would run to try to like raise money for charities or make money for us or like just whatever, just keep the company going. So we'd run these promos, and the promos were just like not thought well enough, and then we experienced hyperinflation in the game.
Right. Then you have to figure out sinks, like get people to spend their multi-billions of...
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So then it was like, wow, what did I just get myself into? So I kind of had a bit of an understanding about economics and what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like the listening to Ron Paul so much and hearing about sound money and Austrian economics and like gold is money and how the fiat currency is doomed to fail and everything. I was like, wow, Bitcoin is amazing. So what I did was I started mining Bitcoin. I had like GPUs, and I was like telling everybody I knew about it, and I was mining Bitcoin with my graphics cards, and then started to buy Bitcoin on Mt. Gox.
Yeah.
Actually, the first was Trade Hill, I think it was. Back then, before it was like around the same time as Mt. Gox. But that was it was just so electric and exciting to be part of something like game changing and new, and like I saw it was going to be $10,000 per Bitcoin one day.
Yeah.
But I would only like tell myself I was going to sell at 1,000, right? But as the time went on and it wasn't hitting the prices I wanted and started like violently fluctuating in price.
Yeah.
I was like, this is insane. I cannot spend all my time doing this because my wife's going to kill me. I need to make some money. I got to go focus back on my business.
Yeah.
So I kept some Bitcoin and like shut down the mine after like 5-6 months or whatever, because my power bill at the time was starting to be so high. They put me in a new category.
Oh, geez.
I got up to like a commercial category. I was just mining in my house. So that kind of like, then I had like a year or something where I came off of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin at the time, right? And then I got really a lot more interested again back in 2013 when the price started to spike again. and it started getting up to $1,000, and like now there's Namecoin and Primecoin and Litecoin, like all these other coins.
Yeah.
Cryptsy and MintPal and all these exchanges where you could buy altcoins to like leverage your gains of Bitcoin. That's what I was interested in. I was like, I gotta get some of this Namecoin crap so I can get more Bitcoin. So that was like a long-winded explanation of like trying to relate to what you were just saying there about how you're like trying to come up with your thesis about what is really Bitcoin. Is it everything is Bitcoin? This whole new economy, this whole new technology of value exchange and like storing value, is it all Bitcoin? That's what I struggle with too, especially after arguing vehemently like so much with all the Bitcoin Cash people on Twitter and on their Reddit and everything, because I take a hardline stance against Bitcoin Cash as Bitcoin.
Sure.
And I believe that Bitcoin is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I also have an investment thesis where I know I can probably make more Bitcoin by investing in altcoins.
Right.
And by getting those gains on early launch altcoins or whatever. So it's like, you see all these smart people coming into the space, like Silicon Valley VCs and like people from Wall Street and like venture capitalists that like, maybe they're not in Silicon Valley, they're from other parts of the world. You're starting to see all these like sovereign wealth funds and endowment funds and stuff like get into crypto, like the Yale Endowment Fund and whatever, institutions getting involved. And where are they going? Well, some of them are going to altcoins.
Right.
They're putting their money into crypto funds.
Well, they're diversifying, right? I mean,
they're diversifying.
It's bone simple, yeah.
But like, I still don't know all the information about where institutions are focused, but it seems like a lot of smart people are coming in wanting to make more money, and that's my motivation was like, I want to make more Bitcoin, and I think a lot of people are motivated by that. They want to make more value, right? Mm-hmm. So my kind of like thought at one point last year was, well, if everything, so you have the coin market cap of everything, right? And then you have the market cap of Bitcoin, and they use the dominance index, which I think is kind of dumb to use as a
it's just a placeholder for something better, but yeah.
But it's like, I was thinking about it as like, if there's 21 million Bitcoin ever going to exist, you take the number of the total coin market cap and you calculate it as if it was just Bitcoin. There's more Bitcoin in existence than 21 million. If you took that philosophy, there's like something like, I can't remember what it is now, but it was like 30, 40 million Bitcoin of value in the whole cryptocurrency market cap. And the way I saw it playing out was like two ways. One way was like, in the future, everybody will have their own coin, like every company will have their own token, whatever. And like, there'll be big swaths of like the world that use their own country coin and all this stuff. And it's the wallets that actually interface with these protocols and these cryptocurrencies. Yeah. And the wallets actually like manage it. And you're actually just, you're spending crypto online, whatever that is, it's mixtures of coins.
Right. And you might not even know.
But you're holding Bitcoin. You're storing that as your like savings. Right. But you're spending like crypto, whatever the heck you got, BAT token or whatever. Know, whatever airdrops you get for free, whatever things you bought, whatever you earn from your media that you put out, like from your ad eyeball views, like all these projects that came out that are rewarding people for stuff, your genetic data, your attention, all that stuff. So that's the one way. Or the other way is like it all fails and there's only like Bitcoin as like the store of value and Lightning Network and second layers as like the transaction of Bitcoin on the internet, and then a bunch of stable coins that are like government coins and like maybe some that haven't died off that are like hard to shut down.
Yeah, like, just kind of zombieing.
Or not even zombies, but like things that are actually more decentralized than ICOs. I was thinking of that other scenario as when, let's say, governments go against crypto, and we haven't seen that yet, where governments really turn against cryptocurrency. Yeah. ICOs and centralized cryptocurrencies are definitely going to be the first to fail.
Absolutely. Well, the net's already been tightening around them for a very long time.
So that's like the way I was thinking about it was, if it is, because I really struggle as like a philosophical Bitcoin maximalist. Yeah. With holding in and investing in altcoins and ICOs and companies that don't support Bitcoin. Like I'm a partner in X Squared Ventures, and we invest in companies. Like I invest personally into like, I want to invest more into Bitcoin and Lightning Network and things that align to Bitcoin and pro Bitcoin. Right. But we also are aware that like you can get more alpha if this you get into this company that has their seed round, but they're not doing something on Bitcoin. They're doing it on Ethereum, or they're doing it on like some other new protocol they're building or whatever. Then there's probably more alpha there. But what am I going to do? I'm probably going to put it back into Bitcoin.
Yeah, of course. And that's a tricky thing to wrap your head around, especially if like you're kind of working from a first principle of get more Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So I had that same struggle, and the way I worked my mind around it is, and this ties into your whole idea of like taking the total market cap as it exists denominated in Bitcoin. But we'll get back to that in a sec. But I want to edit my thesis to be, all right, I'm going to get more value denominated in Bitcoin. So working out from that, what does that mean as different from get more Bitcoin? Well, if you want value denominated in Bitcoin, the safest way to keep that stable is to straight up own Bitcoin, because that ratio of 1 Bitcoin to 1 Bitcoin will never change. But it also encapsulates the alpha that you're talking about of increasing value denominated in Bitcoin, because something will outperform Bitcoin either in the short term, which is what you're most likely looking at as a speculator, but depending on your outlook, potentially in the medium term or even the long term, if there's a long-term view that accounts for a multi-coin long-term future or whatever. So where this ties into the total number of theoretical bit plus real Bitcoins out there in the market cap is this chart that I created, and it's just like a simple philosophical illustrative chart, I think at the beginning of 2018, and it's really been a fulcrum for all my long-term thinking, where there's 3 lines. There's the Bitcoin market cap, and this is all just market cap of total number of Bitcoins out there over time, right? So if you can imagine the Bitcoin line is the lowest on there. It's an inflation curve that's known, and it goes asymptotic to 21 million Bitcoins over time, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like 2140 or something.
Yeah. By 2140. So we got now in 2140. Then you've got the market cap on top of that of actual value that's being built outside of the Bitcoin ecosystem, additive to Bitcoin, which is the alpha that you're seeking, right? It's a line that increases slightly above the Bitcoin line and could theoretically increase beyond that 21 million to infinity. Could be represented by other tokens, could be represented by something else. Right. And then there's a third line, which is speculative value premium.
That's the one I like.
Right? Because this is the one that's crazy.
That's the one that's one that draws people into the space.
Exactly. And the speculative value premium is astronomically high. It accounts for most, if not all, of the volatility. It accounts for all the overbought and oversold. But smoothed out, it looks like a rocket ship blasting off, and then slowly tapering off over time as the value built above Bitcoin increases, so that long term, like approaching year 2140, 21 million Bitcoins, value premium above that staying still sort of increasing, and the speculative premium very, very small, right? So we're in a period of explosive growth where there's inflation on the marginal number of Bitcoins because of mining reward subsidy.
Yeah.
And there's inflation on value being built because, as to the best of our knowledge, these altcoins that are created are not going away, and there is some value in what's being built in them, whether that gets later subsumed by Bitcoin or whatever, we don't know yet. And then there's the obvious massive speculative value, which gives us, you can sum it up by saying 2017. Yeah, that's your 1000x or 10,000x, right? Yeah. So this will all shake out in a fairly predictable way, and economists of the future will laud my name on the cover of textbooks for writing this chart. But
I'm going to start lauding it.
Yeah, please laud it up. Yeah. But like facetiousness about that aside, like it's just an aspect of the idea of permissionlessness in participation in the system. And Bitcoin has to be open source, because if it wasn't open source, we would not know that it was decentralized necessarily, right? So one of the offshoots of open source is that people can tweak it and reuse it and see how far it gets them in the pursuit of money or more Bitcoin or some kind of philosophical ideal or putting food on the table for the family or more likely some combination of all that stuff, right? And what you end up getting is what we observe. So for all the talk about Austrian economics, I mean, how often do you see an economic theory play out exactly as foretold in real life? Like, you just don't. There's too many variables to account for in the human race. And I think with permissionlessness, we see that real world not shaking out the way famous economists predict, just kind of everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to adjust for those models by agreeing that we observe complexity and we observe one thing playing out, yet also something completely opposed to that playing out times 10, basically.
In what way?
So like Bitcoin is the hardest money. It's the only thing that's going to survive. It's the only valid long-term proposition. That's a strong argument.
Right.
Yet also, and I use those words a lot, Litecoin has its own dedicated ASIC network.
Right.
It's similar code on the same update schedule as Bitcoin. Anything that is on Bitcoin can be ported over to Lightning, and in many cases already has. And it's decentralized enough and secure enough that if something were to successfully attack Bitcoin, it would carry on being a little silver honey badger, not caring. In a lot of cases, you could make an argument that Litecoin is stronger than Bitcoin because there is no Litecoin cache directly, mimetically, or philosophically mounting an attack on Bitcoin, for example, right? Mm-hmm. There's no current
I think Bitcoin Cash is if Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin, then Bitcoin Cash is an attack on Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies.
Sure. I can agree with that. Yeah.
In a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in that way, like Litecoin does have an attack mounting, and it's Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, it's Bitcoin Cash. You know, that's really true. Well, we're sort of where I'm getting with that.
But does that scale to, say, 5 years from now? I believe Bitcoin is going to be anywhere between $100,000 and $1 million a coin.
Yeah.
So do you think Litecoin scales up to that same type of gains?
Who knows, right?